Welcome to tonight's Saturday Night Special, episode 112.
I'm Bob Loddick from Seed Time, and I challenge you to invest in yourself, invest in others, develop your influence, and impact the world by using your time, your talent, and your treasures to live out your calling. Having the ability to grow your money like a seed is key to learning God's way of handling money. And one way to be inspired to do that is to listen to this, the Inspired Stewardship podcast with my friend Scott Mater.
Instead, answer for yourself and then identify the areas that you need to continue to grow. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Who do you need to bring into your circle to help coach you and grow you? And then step forward and do that. And then you won't only define success, you'll actually achieve it. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world. In tonight's Saturday Night Special, I talk with you about why we often have vague ideas about things like success and doing better. I talk with you about why it's important to actually define what you mean by success. And I also share how you can go about actually defining success for yourself. One area that a lot of folks need some help with is around the area of productivity. Getting not just more things done, but actually getting the right things done can be really tough. I've got a course called Productivity for Your Passion that's designed to help you do this and then to hold you accountable and walk with you so that you can tailor productivity not just to be getting more done, but actually getting the right things done. What's more, we take the approach of looking at your personality and how you actually look at things in the world and tailor the productivity system to your personality. Because the truth is, a lot of the systems that are out there are written really well for somebody with a particular personality type. But if you have a different approach to things, they just don't work. But there's tools and techniques and approaches that you can take that will work for anyone. And we help you do that in Productivity for Your Passion. Check it out over at inspiredstewardship.com/launch. Those things that I've discovered over the years, whether I'm working with clients, whether I'm working with people that I've managed or supervised or led, is we often tend to answer questions about what we want with these vague answers. I want success. I want to do better. But we don't ever actually sit down and define what success is or what doing better is. And because of that, we don't really end up having a direction that lets us have success and do better, because we haven't really sat down and developed our own plan and defined what success and failure is. It's hard to know, are we moving in the direction? Instead, we have this feeling of, until I achieve X, I won't be happy. I've got to set this goal and achieve this milestone, and then I'll be happy. Or we measure success and doing better in sort of superficial ways. If you spend even 10 minutes browsing social media, you'll find that a lot of people seem to define success around building wealth, having the perfect relationship, maybe having $1 million business, or having even a large social media following, or getting lots of likes. The image that we project is that success is about these sort of vanity metrics. And don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily saying those things are wrong, but many people define success that way, when if they really stopped and thought about it, that wouldn't be how they define success. This is why, and have met folks that have gotten it and on the face of everything appear to have everything that they want. They're on the top, and yet they feel miserable and they feel burned out once they get there. They're unhappy because they spent all of their time chasing a definition of success that wasn't really one that was aligned with their values. And because of that, they end up achieving someone else's success instead of their own. I think a lot of times from childhood, from family, from friends, we have all sorts of folks, whether it's marketing, the culture, our coworkers, who try to define what success should be for us. And if you don't take the time and the energy to step back and define it for yourself, then you'll end up achieving success, but it'll be someone else's definition instead of your own. It is important to set goals and objectives and make plans, but it's also important to examine what are the sorts of things that bring us joy? What are the sorts of things that bring us happiness? But then recognize that if all that makes us happy is achieving certain goals, instead of focusing also on the happiness of the journey, then we'll probably never really achieve it, because we'll never, ever cross all of our goals off our list. No matter what we achieve, there's always something else. So it's important to also recognize that, yes, achieving the goal should be a moment of happiness, but so should be the journey. And when you look at that, this is why it's so important to define success. But how do we actually go about doing it? What are some of the things that we can do to make sure that the success that we're having is actually the success that we... One thing to do is recognize that you've actually already achieved some success, some level of success. No matter how good or how bad your life is, you've actually had successes in your life. So ask yourself, where have you already seen successes in your life? What can you do that would continue to build on those successes? What lessons have you learned from those successes? And what things have you learned about yourself, including, do you want to keep going down that road? Are the successes you're having the true successes that you want? And then sit down and ask these questions. What truly matters to you? Deeply and really be brutally honest with yourself. What truly matters with you? And what things are the things that set you on fire with passion? What are the things that bring a fire into your belly when you think about them? What do you want to make of your life? What legacy do you want to leave behind? That's why I ask all of my guests that question about legacy. What lifestyle do you want to achieve? And yes, I'm talking about money and lifestyle there too. Who do you want to be? Who do you want others to say you are? And what do you want people to say about you after you've passed on and left this world? These questions need to be specific for you. What really matters to you? Don't answer them for anyone else. Don't try to say, this is what others say that it should be. Instead, answer for yourself. And then identify the areas that you need to continue to grow. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Who do you need to bring into your circle to help coach you and grow you? And then step forward and do that. And then you won't only define success, you'll actually achieve it. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor. Go over to inspiredstewardship.com/iTunes rate. All one word, iTunes rate. It'll take you through how to leave a rating and review and how to make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get every episode as it comes out in your feed. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.